Hello and welcome. My name is Saran and I had a right ischemic stroke from a carotid artery dissection in 2013, nearly 10 years ago. I was left with complete left side hemiplegia, inside and out, so paralysis and also lack of sensation. I had to learn to walk again and move my arm and that kind of thing, but most of the damage, physical damage, is in my hand and fingers. Invisible deficits are many, including fatigue, sensory overload, brain fog, depression, and lots of other things which I'll talk about in another video. So I hope that by sharing my stories I'm able to empower others to live their best life post-trauma, to live this lifelong journey. So I thought today I would talk about the Syrebo Glove. I've done a video of it, of just a summary of it. I'm all sort of hooked up. So I have to admit that if you do this is really quite easy. It is easy to put on, but if there is someone else, I would suggest asking them. But what I actually did, because the glove is I don't know if I can show you here. The glove is, so basically you can put your fingers into it. So what I find, and my thumb is really, really tight, what I find is that I basically put my hand right down, because that actually sort of loosens off the fingers, and I basically pop them in one at a time. I don't do my thumb until I've strapped up the actual wrist part itself, so that it's all in place. Make sure that my fingers are right down the bottom. Pull this up to make sure that it's actually on tight, and then I plug it all in. So this is the mirror glove. So it's pneumatic, so it's by air. But there's, as I said before, there's three programs. So one is basically where it's a program in regard to being able to, and haven't taken off that little plastic thing because I don't want to. So you can actually do it as a program where it will open and close your hand. There's also the mirror, which is what I'll do today. And if you've got an Android phone, unfortunately it's not for Apple, but if you have an Android, you're able to play games sort of through it. So I still haven't done that yet because I haven't managed to get my partner's phone yet. So I will do that at another time. So I just turn it on, and my finger doesn't like it. I'm going to set it to the mirror glove. So you just press the program and then you press start, and you can see that basically it opens my hand, opens and closes. I'm going to try and work out how best to show this. Probably should have, actually I can use my chair. Hang on. Use my chair as a little bit of a ledge on it, which will make it easier to see. There we go. Although now it's black. So I can open and close, and this is where it also has it has a ball so that you can play with it, but also this is actually, if you want to sit at a table, which is probably what you're supposed to do, you can sort of lean it on that. So what I do tend to do for me, because I don't have most of the damage in my hand was sensory, premotor and motor cortex of my hand and fingers. So I can't feel this. When I try and visualize it moving, it is warm, but that's about as much. So if people sort of touch my hand, I can't really feel it. So what my plan is that if I can keep it as loose as possible and not in that tone sort of position, it will stay loose. And if one day, my hand can start working again, then at least I don't have to work against that muscle and the tendon shortening. So that's sort of been my plan the whole time. I've had MRIs over the time, and my motor cortex is still sort of damaged. So, and they haven't worked out anywhere else to be able to get that hand moving yet. But I can visualize. So when I do visualize my hand and fingers kind of, one at a time, I can't do it with this. This is only sort of one hand, kind of like the whole hand. I can actually feel it. So, I'll keep trying. But what I love about this glove is that it does actually do this. And I know that after I do the exercise with it, so after I do the 20 minutes and then I'll do another 20 minutes, that basically my hand is a hell of a lot looser. So whilst I can't feel it and I can't, do it myself, it works for me. But what you can do is, like, you can start, if you do actually have movement in the hand that you have the deficit in, you can actually, part use it. Actually, I think that must be the other one. The other function is that you can actually sort of, start moving it, and then, use the glove or whatever, or the machine itself, to be able to stretch out the hand, the rest of it. Because I think the biggest thing, just like with the whole body, is that if we keep it in a sort of tense position, those tendons will actually tighten up, and then that's what causes that arm or the hand to basically stay in that same position. So when I was in therapy, in rehab, I remember a lady in hydro. It was a bit awkward, but she did actually give me a hug first, because when I told her that I had a stroke. But then she actually said that her ex-husband had kept his arm in this position and it always stayed there. So for me, that was a massive thing. Like, I really tried to concentrate on passive range. So the passive range means that, I can actually sort of move my arm to a point, but my passive range, oops, I've got the cord around it, that doesn't work. My passive range is really good because of the fact that I want to make sure that, I can keep that range and keep the tendons from being loose. But sometimes it's a bit hard, of course, as well. So there's still the pain in my shoulder. It sucks because basically I can't actually feel anything except for pain. So I always have this pain in my shoulder, especially when it's sublux. But yeah, anyway. So this Syrebo glove, honestly, has been a game changer for me. Especially even with playing with my VR, having that looser hand, therefore doesn't, like, if my hand's tight, then also the rest of my body is. So for me to do my VR stuff, then my shoulder's tight, and it all just, it's all linked together. And so it's a pain if there is that sort of tone and that kind of thing. So I find with the Syrebo glove, I try and do this once a day at least. And so I know that I can do 2 lots of 20 minutes in a row, but then basically it basically pretty much locks you out for 40 minutes. So it gives a little timer of 40 minutes, which is good, because I know that if I kept doing it, like, I could easily just do it all day, just like I've done with the e-stim and that kind of thing. But because I can't feel it, what it does is it actually fatigues my body, and then I'm asleep for the rest of the day. So it's probably a good thing that it is this. So I bought this through NDIS, like with my NDIS funding, for $700. And because it's under the $1,500, what I did was I paid for it, and then I just got reimbursed for it, so that I was able to put through basically the invoice into Rehab Supplies. I'll put the name of the company in the link below. But it's fantastic. So again, for $700, considering that I bought a Fit Me, which I'll do another one, which is like it looks like two little discs, and they're really good. But that was like I think $1,200 or probably more from the US. Same with the Bobo board and that kind of thing. So this is actually really, really good, well priced. But like the e-stims are really well priced as well. But you also have to sort of work out exactly where to put those on the muscles to be able to, get the most out of it. So that's pretty much, I suppose, what I wanted to talk about today. If you do have any questions, let me know. If you do also want me to talk about anything, nothing is off limits, so I'm happy to talk about any subject, topic regarding stroke. I think I did one the other day about return to work, because that was a big, hard one, and that whole identity and that kind of thing. But I would love you to like this video, to even subscribe to YouTube. I've got TikTok now, which is really scary. My kids are just going, oh my god. As well as Instagram. But yeah, I would love to hear from you, and I hope that you've got sort of something out of this. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.